There's a shadow on the wall that looks like a man. Lord, that lamp just moved on that stand. I got movement in the cellars, I got footsteps in the hall. There's no time to waste, I better make some calls. I gotta get ready, make everything right, 'cause all my rowdy friends are ghost hunting tonight. Hey, round up the team, let's get started. Hey, this is Brother Mike. There's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are ghost hunting tonight. This old house has a long history. It should be real, real good for activity. And we got the house wired for sound and got motion alarm setting all around. Got a box full of batteries ready to go, and everyone's itching to start this show. Got our logo tees, driving black SUVs, and that one bald guy with a slick goatee. Hey, round up the team. Let's get started. Hey, this is Brother Mike. Well, there's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are ghost hunting tonight. Hey, round up the team. Let's get started. Hey, this is your big brother Mike calling. There's a party and you're invited. We got the camera set, let's turn off these lights, 'cause all my rowdy friends are ghost hunting tonight. That's right. Go get 'em, boys.
And welcome everybody to PEN. Welcome to PEMA TV.
Welcome to Friday, March 8th. 2013.
Almost the Ides of March.
Almost.
Almost. Look me in the Ides, they're up here.
Those aren't your Ides.
Well, guys, been a really interesting week for the old fur-bearing one.
Yes, we let him go back to work.
Yeah, how about that? Yay!
That's cool. You really got to go back to work. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. In these days and times, yes, ma'am. Coming up March 23rd and at Waxahachie Civic Center is the Texas Paranormal Unity Fest.
We will be there. There's some great speakers. They have Tracy Lawrence. Yes, Dakota
Lawrence, Tracy Ray, David Roundtree,
Ken Gerhardt, and a whole bunch of them.
Unknown Paranormal will be there. PEN will be there.
We will be there. Yes, we will.
Yes, we will.
Anyway, Dakota Lawrence is doing gallery readings.
Walt Cade will be doing a celebrity auction thing. He'll be doing that.
Walt Cade is the Storage Wars Texas auctioneer on TV. And my personal stalkie.
Yes.
Yes, I stalked him now.
Yes, and he volunteered for that.
He did.
Because she married the last one she stalked.
Hey, you know.
That guy's crazy.
I'm that good.
And then, about a month later.
Well, a little over a month.
Be sure to join Kim and myself for the Lower Catskills Paracon, May 3rd and 4th. At the Shanley Hotel in Napanoch, New York, and the that senior center right across the lot from them.
Shwangunk Valley Senior Center. Directly across the street. Shwangunk. Yes.
Okay, that's too weird.
David, once again, David Roundtree will be there. Tracy Ray will be there. Jody Cook,
Mary Gasparo, Athena Veronis, Deborah Heinecker, Steve Wilson, Betty Comerford, Patty Zekis, and we have some great vendors too, such as Robin Marie, D. Dove, James McCain, and I'm working on Jeff Leeper.
Producer Jeff. Jeff's a great guy. Also, don't forget, this will be Tracy Ray's first ever gallery reading. You can buy tickets for her gallery reading on the website. Go to penevents.webs.com.
It's not her first reading, it's just her first gallery.
Her first gallery reading.
But we have all kinds of cool stuff. There's investigations every night, assisted by and experiments done by Mr. David Roundtree. We have a psychic tour being given for the first time by Patty Zakis out of Canada, and she's going to show everybody actually how a psychic works and what they do.
Basically, going to douse the building with her abilities, and trust me, that's a very when you have somebody that's very connected like she is, that does a walk around in a haunted location, because we did the same thing with Miss Maureen Holleran at OSPH. It's amazing the information you will gather. And
Patty's never been there. She's never seen the inside, and she's actually avoiding any type of history on it whatsoever. So when she walks in, she's walking in completely cold.
Have half a bed left?
Yes, we do have a single bed. I call it a half a bed. We have the single daybed up in the bordello still available, and we have the investigators' rooms up on the 3rd floor. The investigators' packages, you need to bring a sleeping bag or an air mattress because there's no furniture up there. But it is the most haunted area of the building. For the most part, that's where we hear 99.9% of everything, see the shadows and everything else. So if you're an investigator and want to go spend a night in a creepy place, then that's the place to do it.
And if you come running downstairs early in the morning screaming, we will give you a hug on the 2nd floor.
Yeah, and you'll make it to the 1st floor a whole lot quicker.
Faster. Yes, you will. I can guarantee you will.
We also have vendor booths available. We are getting really low on the ones with electricity, so if you need electricity, you better grab them soon because...
Hurry, hurry, hurry.
Well... And we tend to sell the most on the weekends, so usually by Sunday night we're getting slammed. So whatever's left, it's first come, first served, people. We've had our staff meeting, our staff's ready to go. And now all we need is for it to get to be May, so we can be there.
Come see us, come join us. It'll be something a little different. Not your standard issue convention.
And seeing she's in the room, come see Cynthia. Cynthia's a fantabulous photographer.
Yep.
And she will catch you.
All the cool kids will be in
right.
Appomattox. But tonight on PEMA TV, we are joined by a long-term friend.
Yeah, you pronounce her name. I said Schwangunk, you get her.
Okay. But tonight we're joined by Andre Dean Van Scoyco, and we're going to spend a little time, much like we did on Yakin, we're going to spend a little time talking about about 14 different directions that this woman likes to go in at one time. She's like an amoeba.
Energizer Bunny on crack.
Yeah, there you go. Welcome, Andrea. How have you been?
Good. How have you been?
I'm doing really well.
He got it.
Back to work.
Finally.
Yeah. Hey, easy.
Hey, no,
easy.
It's been a while, and you've been itching to get there, so yay.
She just wanted to get back to interviewing for her open pool boy position, even though we have no pool. I have yet to figure that one out.
Hey, if I get a good pool boy, then maybe I will get the pool.
She's reverse engineering it.
Cool.
It didn't work the other way, so I'm going to try this way.
And if she hires one, there will be a whole dog. I'll guarantee you that. But go ahead. Okay, well let me put this graphic up so we can just kind of start from this. You have about 5 different Facebook pages and an author's page / blog that people can find you at. But let's start with the books first. They can go to the Lost, the Forgotten, thedamned.com.
Yep.
And they can not only find your blog that's updated at least 2 or 3 times a week at least.
Something like that. Something crazy like that.
and links to all your books and where to buy them, because you are the unofficial queen of the self-published authors, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I have been hailed as a self-publishing legend because I was doing it back when you got vilified, crucified, and people would slam you online saying you were a talentless hack if you chose self-publishing. What those people don't seem to realize is that not all of us want to sit around and put our future in the control of somebody else that doesn't care about us.
I totally agree. Totally agree. Now,
well, you make more money like that too if you self-publish. Otherwise, they get the chunk of it, and you get a few pennies for every.
That's true too.
Well, you have to sell a lot of books if you self-publish, and it's a harder way to go, and you have to pay for all your marketing and everything. But you still do it your way. That's what I like. Call me a control freak, but I like to have my say in my things. I don't want someone else in charge of my future.
Well, and let's go ahead and just throw this out there too. Your books are not for the faint of heart or the extremely. You wouldn't want to hand these out to the people that knock on your door on a Saturday morning.
Oh, I
would. You would if you don't want them to come back. Hand them a copy of Playing Devil's Advocate. Guaranteed they either won't come back or they'll all gather outside your house and pray or threaten to burn you at the stake or something like that.
Nice.
See,
yeah, no, my books aren't for homophobes, the faint of heart, the easily offended, prudes. And probably just pretty much avoid everything I've ever written.
But your books, like you said, you're a legend. So somebody somewhere likes these.
Well, people love to hate me too, so it's probably a combination of both.
But they say any
publicity is good publicity.
So you know what?
Okay, I was always the queen of taking bad publicity and turning it around in my favor because I'm truly one of these people that does not care what if people don't like me. If you like me, great. Contact me. We'll have a great chat through email, whatever. If you hate me, ask me if I care. Don't think the answer will surprise you.
Yeah.
And that's what people can't seem to get over is that if someone starts hating me online, I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Cynthia in the room says, my kind of girl.
Thank you, Cynthia.
And we'll just start with the top because when we talked to you about a month ago, this was your newest, I don't want to say endeavor, but the newest direction that you decided to take with the yoga.
Oh, yes. Yes, I'm teaching yoga. I'm trying to get back into voiceover work. So if anyone needs voiceover work done for their website or you want me to do a commercial for you or something like that, just let me know because I'm trying to get back into that. And I also, since we last chatted, have signed with In Your Face Productions to have my short story Border Patrol made into a film.
Nice.
I'm excited.
If you would, explain to our viewers a little bit about Border Patrol and what that's about.
Let's see. It's really short, so let me choose my words carefully. Otherwise, I will give it all away. Wow. There's not really let's just say that it is a survival tale with a wicked twist at the end that when I posted the story free online, the first thing I heard from everyone is, okay, this is totally not what I was expecting. Because it starts out one way, and I could just see the people sitting there going, what exactly is this? And then by the time it gets to the end of it going, oh my God! So, one of those.
Okay.
Border Patrol.
Border Patrol.
Often, as soon as I get updates, I'm going to have probably a small cameo in Border Patrol.
Kind of like Stephen King?
Yeah, I don't like to be in front of the camera too much, even though I'm a complete attention whore and love being in the media and everything. I always hate how I look on camera. I always think I look like a complete dork. So I'm going to be like, okay, just do me like a little cameo and then go someplace else.
Well,
she can show up and deliver a pizza.
No,
Stephen King did that. He just knocked on the door, handed them the pizza.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is Stephen King for his brilliant mind and his great works of fiction, he is not an attractive human being at all.
Yep. Poor guy.
So I mean, yeah, like he was the bus driver. I think that's why he chose the roles that he did. The little cameos, anyway.
Oh yeah, that'll be me. I'll be on film for a few seconds. I might have to do a little bit more than a cameo. I might actually have a speaking role. I haven't talked to the producer of the movie yet since we signed the contract. I know that she's getting ready to do casting, but we're going to have to expand it a little bit because the story is so short. It's only like 300 words. So we're going to have to expand the script quite a bit in order to have enough to film. So I'll probably have a little bit more than a cameo, but that'll be okay.
Do it all in like Sling Blade.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No, I really don't want to do Sling Blade.
See?
Well, it could lengthen the story. As slow as he talks, it would lengthen the movie long enough to film
Well,
it.
then you could also use Mountain Man from Duck Dynasty.
Yeah, but see, that'd be a copy of Mountain Man, and nobody remembers Sling Blade anymore.
Oh, no.
Until she started talking about wanting mustard on her fried taters.
Stop.
And then, but
I don't fried taters either. Gross.
Well, let's just move on down because the next one was a huge one, and I know Kim will want to. Well, I know Kim will want to talk about this. You're also founding part of and helping to run and keeping it going of the Anti-Surrender Committee. Now, could you let everybody know once again what the Anti-Surrender Committee is really all about and how it got started?
I love this.
My friend Lisa Polo and I decided that we really wanted to make a difference in the lives of people going through financial difficulties. Because when the economy tanked, we started hearing so many stories about people having to give up their animals and all of the stories to cry. So Lisa and I decided that we wanted to make a difference, not just, okay, well, you have to fill out all this paperwork, and we have to deem whether or not you're worthy, and this and that and the other. We put our flyers out, and we tell people if you need help feeding your pets, give me a call, because I'm used to being in the spotlight, I'm used to being out in public, and of course being a minister and a yoga instructor, and of course having my phone number all over the internet for if people want to hire me for voiceover work. I just, well, here, call me. Where Lisa doesn't necessarily want people calling her, I'll call her and say, hey, can you call this person if someone that contacts us is closer to her than to me? But people call and they'll say, you know, I've lost my job, I can't feed my cat or my dog, and I really don't want to have to give it up. I'm using my food stamps to feed my animal because I refuse to give them up. I'll go hungry first, and then we give them food. About the only stipulation we have, this really is the only stipulation that we have, no booze and no smokes. If you can buy booze and smokes, then you need to be taking that money and feeding your cat and dog and not treating yourself.
That's understandable. And that, to me, that's completely understandable.
Well, it is, because I have a Starbucks, I have a Starbucks Gold Card. And the first thing I gave up when I lost my job was my Starbucks Gold Card.
And Cynthia also wanted to know in the room, she wanted to know, you're in Florida, but what part?
I'm outside of Tampa.
Ah, okay.
Well, Cynthia has her own little brood. At last I knew she had 17 cats.
Oh, wow. I have 5 and 4 that I feed outside.
She cycles them through the house. She's got different names, and this group goes in that room. But later on, they get to come out here and play, and this group goes into that room. It's crazy.
This is AB.
Cynthia says it's a system.
Yeah. Y'all remember AB? I showed you AB last time. He's the one that looks like Yoda.
Yep, he does. He does scarily look like Yoda.
He does. We call him Yoda.
He doesn't ever hop up in your lap and go, pet me, you will.
No, although Pootie, my little familiar, used to jump up in my lap and say, Mommy!
Well, Spanky used to say Mom.
Yeah, it's true.
My dog.
Oh, really?
If you got him and started playing with him on the bed, he'd go, Mom, 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 Mom.
Yeah, Pootie would jump on me one night, and she called me, don't put your hand down. She would call me Mommy and Mama, and she would say all kinds of other things, like she told AB one time to go away, She used to tell me no all the time. I'd pick her up and I'd say something, no, no. I'm like, don't you tell your mommy no. Why? She freaked everybody out. My mother swore that I needed to follow her around with a video camera or a tape recorder or something. And I said, yeah, but if she knows I want her to talk on film or say something or do something, she's not going to do it.
Right.
Well, and you've also been involved in other groups too, animal cruelty and trying to get dogs out of the pound and.
Oh yeah. I hate anything having to do with animal cruelty. So I'm constantly signing. I used to do so more when I had the extra time, but I'm constantly signing petitions, and I'm constantly protesting the way other countries treat their animals, and protesting the way animals are treated here in the U.S. So yeah, I'm real busy into animal rights.
I'm looking at the chat room, and we not only do we have Cynthia and her little systematic brood, but we also have Mary, who is also in animal rescue.
Cool.
She specializes in Himalayans and Persians.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
She's got 5 in her house.
Mary's an animal communicator too.
Yes, Mary is an animal communicator.
Oh, cool. I wish that I could have gotten someone to see if they could have communicated with Pootie before she died to find out why and how she can talk. But I think I told y'all the story of where I found her. So, all right, if you don't want to be on Mommy's lap. Oh. Well, here, fine. Here, go this way. The old man. Baby's like 20 years old, so he gets in these moods. But I found Pootie in a little haunted area of the downtown where I used to live, and we used to call the area the Abyss or the Void because it was just so weird. If you walked through there, it was almost like you were walking through another dimension. There was just this crushing feeling, and you could feel something there. And that was where Pootie found me. There was an auto body shop right there beside the Void, and she was on top of the hood of a car. And so I've always said that where I found her, or where she found me, had something to do with why she could do such weird things.
Well,
And why the ghost that used to be in our house, I'm not sure if she's completely gone or not, but when we first moved in, we had a ghost in our house, and she hated Pootie. So that's the only thing I can think of, is that Pootie had some kind of otherworld something going on.
Okay. Well, God bless you for coming up for that, because the anti-surrender committee, that is an idea, like I mentioned earlier in the last show you were on with us here, that is an idea that is like, I can't believe anybody never thought of that before, but it's so appropriate these days and times to be able to help people that way. And that's got to be heartbreaking, to be, trust me, I was just there.
Yeah, well, with everybody, it's about the money, and it's about the fame, and it's about, oh, look at me, I'm doing something important. And with Lisa and I, it's not like that. It's, if you need help, we'll help you. Then we don't care about fame, we don't care about fortune, we don't care about being important. I mean, we answer messages on the Facebook page. I answer emails. I got a really nice email from a lady a couple of weeks ago, because I was on Bay News 10 back at the beginning of the year for the Anti-Surrender Committee. And unfortunately, Lisa wasn't able to join me for the interview because she works at a veterinarian's office, so she's constantly at work. And so I did the interview, and then I get this email from this school teacher just a couple of weeks ago, and she said that ever since she and her students saw me on TV, they have been collecting dog food, cat toys, cat food, and anything else they can think of. And I'm going on the 21st to the school to talk to the kids. They wanted me to come say something to the kids about how important it is, because these are all place, which is like before school and after school care. Mm-hmm. And they want me to talk to the kids and tell them how important it is to realize that if you get a pet, it is a lifelong commitment till one or the other of you dies. You can't just throw it away when it gets older and it's not cute anymore and stuff like that. And I plan on taking Avy with me if he'll cooperate. Like I said, he's a crotchety old man. He's at least 20 years old. And so he has he's just like any grumpy little old man, you know, get off the lawn. Don't come in my yard. You know, one of those types. If Avy could talk, that's probably what he'd say. Get away from me. He's something else. He's a Yoda. So I'm going to take him with me because he was a throwaway. And so I figured, and he was a throwaway at about 15. He's been with us 5 or 6 years. So he's pushing 21. So I wanted to tell the kids how important it is that when your cat gets old, if it lives to be old like Avy is, you can't just throw it away. Because when we got Avy, he still had the indentation around his neck. He had a deep indentation where he'd been wearing a collar at one time. And so his people just threw him away, took his collar off of him and threw him away. So that'll be one of the points that I try to drive home to the kids, that when your pet gets old, you can't just take it and throw it outside.
Yeah, I can't imagine that. My poodle is going to be 18 in July. He's blind. He's deaf. He don't care. He is the honey badger. But I wouldn't give him up for the world.
Yeah. And people can find you, like they can see on the graphic, hopefully. The Anti-Surrender Committee does have a Facebook page.
Yes, we do.
And you can like it, help share all that, pass along everything that they post. That'd also be great. Moving down our little lovely list, let's go ahead and move to that second one, because this was something else since the time before that we had talked to you that I hadn't heard about. Is you're now a reverend minister.
Mm-hmm. I'm an officiate. Yep.
Okay, why?
Well, I prefer the term officiate because reverend sounds real stodgy and religious, and I'm not either one. And so I prefer officiate. And partially, too, because I cater to off-the-cuff religions and the gay and lesbian community. I'm getting ready to do my very first pagan marriage in April. And then I'm going to be doing another marriage, hopefully later on in the year. And I also do gay and lesbian devotion ceremonies, but I'll also do them for straight people, too, because I'm having more and more heterosexual couples come to me and say, like one couple that came to me asked me about doing a devotion ceremony for them because she had been in the military, and if she married her fiance, they would lose all of her, like, VA benefits. Mm-hmm. So it's not just gay and lesbian couples, it's hetero couples too. So that's who I cater to, vampires, goths, Celts, atheists, agnostics. I'll do marriage ceremonies. You know, I'll combine like vampire and gothic or something like that. Basically, I cater to whatever people want to do. Had someone contact me not too long ago from the BDSM community, wanting to know if I would have a problem performing a BDSM marriage, and I'm like, no, as long as you don't do anything illegal, I don't care what you do at your marriage.
Now that is a hell of a good idea to have a marriage with a safety word.
I'll give you the safety word.
As long as it's not, you know, that would be kind of hard.
Yeah, so that's what I do. I'll cater off the path, and like I said, I wanted to offer devotion ceremonies because there's so many states, just like the state of Florida, that are in the dark ages and won't recognize gay or lesbian marriage. So I thought it would be nice for people that live here to just be able to say, okay, look, we're getting a bunch of people together. We're just going to say how much we love each other. And I give them a little certificate at the end and just something nice for people to have.
Well, ours was a traditionally non-traditional, but trying to find a non-denominational minister is not as easy as some people would think.
Yeah,
because we're different religions, and I'm not going to say you have to be mine. He's not going to say I have to be his. So finding someone who wouldn't base it on a specific religion.
And I'm Southern Baptist, and she's Lutheran.
Right.
So, you know, neither one of those reverends or ministers none of them would bend to say to do more of a Lutheran type ceremony or a more of a Baptist type ceremony. They were like, you will do it this way, or I'm not. Okay, well then you just won't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I told y'all the last time I had the interview with you, my husband and I, when we got married, we only knew each other 2 weeks before we got married, and February 8th, we've been married for 19 years. So that's kind of weird. Everybody laughs when I say that. You only knew each other 2 weeks? Yep, only knew each other 2 weeks before we got married. We just knew it was right. But we didn't have a church, of course, because I came over here, we got married. We didn't have a church. We didn't have anything. And we ended up getting married at the courthouse. And I will never forget, I spent my wedding day standing in a stark white room, nothing on the walls, an old crappy table like you see on wrestling matches or in schools, you know, where with the slats in them where you can fold them up or whatever, or fold them down. No covering on the table, nothing. Just some lady standing there reading like this, okay, you're married. And I thought, nobody else should have to go through that. And I realized that there's notaries around, but I think I told y'all the story of the living room that time forgot when my friend got married at like a 90-year-old notary's house. Yeah, I swear, I was looking for Grandpa from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre to come wheeling out of one of the rooms.
Actually, I met him. He's one of my friends now.
And all the candy and the dishes all melted together into one huge...
That's the ribbon candy.
Yeah, the ribbon rock candy, yeah.
Yeah, the ribbon candy and everything in the house, the old flowers that when you walked in, it smelled like a funeral home or something. It was awful. And the tape recorder. The tape recorder of the Hawaiian music that was supposed to sound like you were on a Hawaiian vacation. I was standing there because I went with my friend. It was my friend and her now husband, her son, and me. And I'm standing there in that living room, and I'm like, really? Okay, can we just hurry up and get this done? I have to get out of here. I'm aging as we stand here.
Tiny bubbles.
Yeah, that's it. And I thought, that's awful. That's really awful. I mean, I understand that notaries provide a service, and I'm not putting down notaries in any way, but what I'm saying is there needs to be a little bit of something for people that, because I don't go to church. I won't go to church. I don't want anything to do with church. I detest religion. I like studying religions. I love studying different religions. I have a master's degree in religious studies. And so I study different religions all the time. But when you're talking about religions where people are talking about, oh, this is my religion, and you're right, you're wrong, and I'm right. And when you get to doing it like that, I can't stand any of that, because from what I've seen so far, while everyone has great ideas, nobody has gotten it right yet, because people pervert it and take it and do what they want with it. So I won't marry people in the church. I don't want anything to do with religion, and I figure I can't be the only one in America, in Florida, in anywhere. There's got to be other people like me.
3.
That's about what I'm starting to think, because even people that I know that I would have, if you'd have told me they were going to have a church wedding, I'd have been like, yeah, what are you smoking? There's no way this person's going to end up in a church, and they did. So it's like, I'm starting to wonder sometimes if I'm the only one.
Well, then it's really hard for, people that have, like their one's done a skull makeup with their eyes blacked out and, fang appendages stuck on their teeth. It's kind of hard for them to walk into the local, archdiocese and go, hey, would you marry us?
Well, I do family weddings, so they could call me.
Right.
I just run into the people, though. It's weird. Florida is so weird. I have people call me all the time, wanting to know this or that. Like, I had the guy call me about my vampire corset, and when I wasn't freaked out that he was a cross-dresser, he didn't show up to buy the corset from me. The BDSM people called me and asked me about doing a marriage, and they were like, oh, well, have you ever had any experience in that community? And I'm like, well, no, but I'm no stranger to it. A friend of mine did BDSM scenarios for like 5 years. And I said, so, whatever you want to do. And I guess that they didn't like that either. I guess I was supposed to be like, oh, well, I don't know about that. I was supposed to be freaked out or whatever. And it's like, please, you cannot get up early enough in the morning to freak me out. You just really can't.
Some people live for that shock factor, and when they don't get it, you kind of burst their little bubble, so they're going to go pout and go somewhere else.
That's it exactly. Because it was, I don't know if I told y'all the story about the guy with the vampire corset, but oh my gosh. I made the mistake, and I see this stuff all the time, like on TV, because I watch like court TV and stuff, and these people say, oh, I put an ad on Craigslist, and it's like, really? God, how could, I've had nothing but problems on there. I had an ad on Craigslist trying to get rid of a custom-made vampire corset that I had. I couldn't wear it anymore. I'd lost a lot of weight, and I even tried to alter it and still couldn't wear it. And so I put it on Craigslist because I thought, if I can't use it, I should sell it to someone else who can get use out of it because it was gorgeous. This guy emailed me, and he's like, oh, my name is so-and-so, and I'm a cross-dresser from so-and-so. And I emailed him back, and I'm like, yeah, okay, corset's $20, because I've done some alterations to it and probably didn't do too good of a job. But, I tried my best, and so that's why, even though it's a custom-made vampire corset, it's only $20. Emailed me back, oh, that's great. Yeah, I'm the cross-dresser from so-and-so. And I emailed him back. I'm like, good for you. Where do you want to meet to buy the corset? And emails me back again. My name is so-and-so, and I'm a cross-dresser from so-and-so. And I finally emailed him back and said, look, dude, I don't know what you think being a cross-dresser has to do with anything. All I care about is your money. Put $20 in my hand, and you can take the corset out and set fire to it for all I care. Yeah. Do you want it or not? I want your money. That's what I want. If you want my corset, give me money. You have my corset, great. Have a nice life.
But that probably just means it was actually a guy sitting around in some dirty boxers, going Control V, copying and pasting on there.
I don't have any idea what he was doing, but it made me so mad because we agreed to meet at this mall that I love, but my husband hates because it's in Tampa, and we try not to go to Tampa unless we absolutely have to, but I love this mall. And it's like a 45-minute drive to get there, though. We got there, and the guy never showed. I mean, I was mad because I could have used the money, but I was okay with it because I made my husband walk around the mall. But he had a fit because he didn't want to be there to begin with. But, yeah, that's...
Maybe he was just running late because he couldn't find anything to wear.
Oh, I don't know. But you know what? I'm the last person in the world that if you want to try to shock me, don't, because I can promise you, after some of the things I have seen at like conventions and places I've been, you are not going to shock me. I don't care what you do. You can come up and drop your pants in front of me, and I'd be like, really? Okay, whatever.
Next.
Don't seen it, whatever. I just, like I said, you have not gotten up early enough in the morning ever to shock me.
Sounds like a dare to me, Eric.
Well, it's a dare for anybody. Like I said, I don't get freaked out. Whatever people want to do, as long as they're not hurting me or hurting, doing something bad, setting the house on fire, whatever. I could not care less what people do.
Yeah. Well, and the world would be a much better place if that's how people thought.
I mean, I just don't care. It's none of my business. If the guy wanted to be a cross-dresser, good for him. Give me money for my corset and have a nice life, and I'll be happy having $20 in my pocket.
Well, speaking of cross-dressing, your next endeavor intrigued the hell out of me when we talked about it. The Celtic Belle.
Yeah. I love the Celtic Belle. That's my Civil War reenacting, used Civil War reenacting clothing.
And like you were talking about, there's cliques in the Civil War reenacting community.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah. I used to get people say things to me all the time. because my hair is really, really short. I'm doing the whole angle thing now. I've still got it short on the right side, and I'm letting it grow a little bit on the left side, as you can see. But my hair has always been really, really short, and I'm allergic to wigs, so I couldn't wear wigs. So I would do the best I could, and I didn't always have what would be considered the proper headwear for the dress that I was wearing. There would be these snitty little babbling old bats that would come up to me. Oh, well, you know, that's not the correct thing to be wearing with that dress. And I'll never forget, I was at one reenactment and I was in the bathroom, and another one of these know-it-all old bats comes up to me and says something like that. And this woman standing beside me, who was in completely correct period attire, from her snood to everything, and I had on like a little morning cap with my dress. And the lady was like, oh, really? Well, you know, since the Civil War started, because you're supposed to stay in character when you're at a Civil War reenactment, and there were non-reenactors in the bathroom. So while we were all standing in front of the mirror, and so she stayed in character, and she said, well, you know, since the war started, I don't know about her, but I don't have any help at my house anymore, and so I'm having to do everything myself. So if my hair got messed up, like hers probably did, I would be wearing the exact same thing on my head, especially if possibly someone came by looking to make a little extra money taking pictures. And that was probably the coolest ad lib I had ever heard in my life. You should have seen the woman's face. She was like, well, that's true. That's true. And then she turned around and walked off, and I don't know if I can say this, bleep me out if I can, but the woman looked at her and she's like, bitch.
No, you can say that.
And I was like, and because I was almost in tears, because it's like being back in high school. They can really make you feel like crap if you are not perfect. And so I looked at her and I said, thank you so much. She said, oh, I get so sick of people being like that. None of us were there. We don't have, all we have are pictures to go by. And this is people wearing their best attire, and they probably spent all day getting their clothes ready to have these pictures made. Really everyday stuff, we don't have any idea of what people did. And she said, I get so sick of these superioristic women and their noses up in the air. So I always kept that in the back of my mind, and if I heard someone else being nasty to someone, I would do the same thing to try to help them. But that's why I started the Celtic Belle, because a lot of people think of Civil War reenactments as being like white trash and scumbag rednecks and racists, and that is not it at all. You've got doctors, lawyers, police officers, ministers, accountants, people in the service, if they're home on leave, or if they're like in the Coast Guard, or if they're in the National Guard or something like that. You've got people from all walks of life. You've got people pulling up in Mercedes and BMWs. You've got some people that travel around America doing different reenactments, and they're pulling up in $150,000 motor homes, pulling a Cadillac Escalade behind the motorhome or something like that. It's like reenacting is not a cheap person's hobby, and I know that.
Well,
so that's why I started the Celtic Belle. So in case there was anyone like me who didn't have a lot of money, but they wanted to do the best they could for someone just starting out, the Celtic Belle's perfect, because you don't have to put out a lot of money, but you still get good quality stuff.
And one thing a lot of people need to remember too is that the Civil War was not all about slavery. There were major economic differences. There were major differences in how each side wanted the government run. So it's not. It was about that, but it's not all about that. There was more to it than that.
Oh, absolutely, there was. I try to educate people all the time, and I end up not being very popular at all. Imagine that, because I try to educate people. But what really, really makes people mad is because I don't sugarcoat history. I always tell people, you know, I hate to burst your bubble, but the first slave ship ever built in America was built in Marblehead, Massachusetts. And I always tell people, for those of you that don't know geography very well, Massachusetts fought for the North. And people don't like that. They have a fit about that. And I also tell people that the war between the states was about states' rights. The South did not start slavery. Slavery started in Europe. Mm-hmm. And it was not the South that started bringing people over here. The South didn't have the means to do that. They might go on some ships, but it was the other countries that brought the slaves over, and then as it became lucrative and profitable, then American ships might go out and do this or that. But I tell people all the time, slavery was not started in the South. Slavery has been around since the beginning of time, depending on, whether you look back in ancient Egypt, they had slaves.
Ancient Greece.
The Jews were slaves at one time. When the Chinese were brought over here to build the railroads, they were basically slaves. Slavery is not a new thing. Somebody has always been a slave to somebody else. And I also like to tell people, too, people talk about how racist the Confederate flag is and everything, and this really makes people mad. I always tell people, okay, the Constitution for the United States, the Declaration of Independence, when all of our forefathers got together and George Washington signed it, Thomas Jefferson, John Hancock, everybody put forth this great document, the Declaration of Independence. Slavery was not only legal, it was practiced in all 13 colonies. That was 1776. Yep. The war didn't start until 1861. From 1776 to 1861, and then you've got 1861 to 1865. So I always like to ask people, which flag is it that's racist? When the Declaration of Independence was signed, the flag was the American flag. Slavery was legal and practiced. 1861 to 1865, the South had a different flag. That's 4 years.
And much like what you're saying too, one thing a lot of people don't like to hear either is that the federal government of the time had no problem taking the lucrative money and taxing the southern states who were more lucrative and business savvy than the North, had no problem taxing them. And that's really, once again, much like our independence, the Civil War was about money. It was about money.
Oh yeah, everything's always about money. But I used to love telling people that would say something about, oh well, yeah, this is racist. And I used to always love to point out to people, oh, okay, so if this is so racist, why is that black man over there in a Confederate uniform? Yeah. And people would look up and I would say, oh, and by the way, he's a police officer. He fights for the Union one day and fights for the Confederacy one day. And he'll be the first one to tell you this is history and it needs to be taught. And just in case people aren't aware, he would be the one to tell people this. Almost as many blacks fought for the Confederacy as did for the Union.
Mm-hmm. And they could have just as easily run off when they were fighting too.
Exactly. And so he says, I fight for both sides because it needs to be properly represented.
Right.
And it was always so cool to see him in a Confederate uniform one day and a Union uniform one day. And there was a lady that I used to talk to. I think she was a school teacher. She had a little society for pretty black women, keeping with the period and keeping in character. And her little boy, he was so sweet. Little black boy now said that he couldn't wait until he got to be, I haven't had any friends with young children in a long time in reenacting. I can't remember if it's 10 or 12 when you can go out on the battlefield as a color bearer. They won't let you on the field before then. And it was one or the other. He said he couldn't wait till he got to be 10 or 12, so he carried the Confederate flag.
I think it's 12.
And a friend of mine was standing there, and he said, better not. No one try to stop him either. I said, no, I would love to see him out there carrying the Confederate flag. And he used to wear a little Confederate kepi. He was so precious. I got the cutest picture of him one time wearing bib overalls, because he was about the same age as my son, and wearing bib overalls and a Confederate kepi, and had a bottle of root beer in his hand. He was precious. So that's what I tell people. Don't try to bring that racism crap to the Civil War reenactment, because you will not be well received.
Well, and I've found over the years that most of the people who consider the Confederate flag so racist are the same people whose parents owned the slaves.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a little bit of guilt going on there, people.
Yeah. And most of the people, they don't understand. Like you said, they don't know the history. They're being told that they're not supposed to like it, and that's as far as they went with their thought process. And
right, revisionist history.
Yeah. I wanted to make sure we had time tonight to talk about this. Your last little thing that you have on our list that we have time to go over with tonight is also in the publishing realm, but this is very near and dear to your heart. Twisted Dreams magazine.
Oh yeah, my little labor of love. I've had Twisted Dreams since August of 2005, and that's because I saw a need for magazines that cater to those who don't care about being in the country club, who don't want to have to jump through hoops. I know that my guidelines might seem strict if you read them, but they're really not. I just basically ask that you submit things to me in Times New Roman or Garamond 12 point. I don't do any fancy formatting, don't do any fancy fonts. Send it in an RTF file and keep it under 1,500 words. And that's great for people who like to write micro flash fiction, because that's what I write now when I do write. I love micro flash fiction and anything even shorter. I'll take stories starting at 300 words up to 1,500. And so I tell people it's a great little magazine to be in if you're not worried about impressing people, and it might be a stepping stone to get you to something bigger. I had a guy contact me one time and thank me for publishing his story in Twisted Dreams, because he said thanks to being published in Twisted Dreams, he was able to get his story in another magazine and got paid for it. So I was like, wow, that's great. And I'm also really liberal on the things I'll take, too. About the only thing I won't take is, like, intense erotica. I'll take stories with erotic elements in it, but Twisted Dreams readership starts at age 13, so I always ask people keep it PG-13 and keep language appropriate, because if you throw the F-bomb out there too many times, I'm not going to take it, because it's got to be PG-13. And I'll take fiction, nonfiction, true ghost stories. I always tell people if you and your group go on a paranormal investigation and you want to write me about what you've seen and what you've heard, I have a special section in my magazine called Shivers and Shakes. I take poetry, I take artwork, horror, fantasy, bizarro, absurdism, dark sci-fi, gore, as long as it's applicable, not just gore for gore's sake. But Twisted Dreams it's still going strong. June's issue is already at capacity. I'm already into October's issue.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
February's issue was 140 pages, our largest ever.
Wow. And I was going to ask you this last time, too. I don't remember if I did or not either. What did you do karmically in a previous life to be doing all this good in this life?
Nothing. I don't know what I did. I know what it's like. And the country club out there, the writing country club, hates me. They absolutely hate me because I refuse to conform. I'm not a sheeple. I do things my own way. I don't care about impressing them. I certainly don't care about being one of them. I'm going to do what I want to do, how I want to do it. And so I cater to people like me who are socially defiant and rebels. And there's quite a few people that feel the same way I do. They don't want to have to jump through hoops. It's just like in high school. Like you had your popular kids in high school, and if you wanted to be one of them, you couldn't talk to certain people. You had to wear certain clothes. At least that's how it was when I was in school. We're talking, 25, 30 years ago. But when I was in school, you had to wear certain brands of clothes. You had to only do your grocery shopping. You had to tell your parents that they could only shop at certain grocery stores. You had to wear certain types of makeup, and you had to wear certain types of shoes, and you had to write with certain types of pencils and things like that. And it's like, really, I had enough of that in junior high and high school. I'm not going to still be in high school when I get out of high school. I'm going to do what I want to do. And as long as you enjoy what you're doing and people like what you're doing, it shouldn't matter what anyone else thinks. Because what people don't realize is the country club is going to support you only so far as you don't become a threat to them. Once you become a threat to them, or you might want to have a say in something, or you might not want to agree with everything they do, then they're going to turn on you. So you should just live your life the way you want to live your life and do things your way. And that's why I started Twisted Dreams. For people who want to do that, for free thinkers who want to be independent.
I guess you got told.
I'm hushing my mouth.
But I don't know if it has anything to do with karma. It just, like I said, I've been there. I've done it. I know how hard it is.
Right. And, well, I'm just saying that's but with the way Twisted Dreams is run, with the Brain Lock, Anti-Surrender Committee, the way you ran Celtic Bell. I mean, it's just you're constantly giving to people that way, and I was just saying that's.
Oh well, no, I appreciate that. I wasn't griping at you. I'm just saying that's why I do all of this, because I know what it's like. I mean, I look around and I see things for what they are, and I'm not very happy with the way a lot of things. So I wish it was good karma coming back on me or something like that. But being as I don't believe in karma, I can't hurt those. I'm just thinking that I'm a problem solver, and I just think things should be a certain way. And I don't think you should be out to screw people. And I think it doesn't always have to be about you. You know what I'm saying? There comes a time when you really should do something just because you want to.
Or do something bigger than yourself.
Yeah, just because it's the right thing to do.
And I know a lot of our guests will ask them, well, where can people see you? Well, you've kind of given up on that end of it to a certain degree, haven't you?
Yeah, I don't do many conventions anymore unless I'm like a headlining guest or something.
Right.
Because I was on the fast track for so many years. And I say so many years, and it seems like it was like a lifetime, because for 3 years, I was doing up to 3 conventions a month, every month. And it got to be too much. My husband and I would come back, and when we had our dog, the dog didn't hardly recognize us, the cat didn't recognize us, and it got to be so much all the time. So I'll do appearances now if someone, I'll do out-of-state appearances, I'll do in-state appearances. If I'm comped, if I'm a headliner, like I'll do the local free comic book day. Here where I live, we have a free comic book day. I go and do that every year because it's at the mall, and the mall's like 5 minutes from my house. So I'll go there and do that. But as for the manic con hopping that I did for 3 years, I can't do that anymore.
Right, but people can find you all over Facebook.
Oh yeah. Well, and my email is out there all over the place too. I mean, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Tumblr. I went and signed up for an account on that new thing, Rebel Mouse. I'm on there.
Never heard of the mouse.
Ooh, you missed that one?
Never heard of the mouse.
Yep, Rebel Mouse it's called. And basically it's kind of like one of those places where everything you do gets combined and put out there. It's kind of a cool thing. I heard about it on TV, so I went and tried it. I mean, I was on LinkedIn, but I didn't find that LinkedIn did really anything for me, so I deleted my profile off of there. But yeah, I am all over the internet. I mean, if people really want to find me, they can.
Yeah, you're not hiding.
No, I couldn't hide if I wanted to. I've been too much in the public eye over the past 7 years.
Yeah.
I put myself out there too much. There's no taking back what I put out there.
Do you have any, and I can't remember whether I asked you this or not, but do you have anything that's getting published anytime soon?
No, I have a couple stories that I'm waiting for the rights to expire with the publisher, and then once I get those stories back, I'll probably put them up on Kindle.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, June's issue of Twisted Dreams is going to be out June 1st. So that's basically what I do now. Like I said, I'm trying to concentrate on my voiceover work, commercials, on-hold stuff, spots for websites, things like that, and doing my yoga, and hopefully can get somewhere with Border Patrol so I can start doing more movies, have more of my works turned into movies, things like that. That'll put me back probably on the convention circuit again, but I'm going to try to stay a little more out of the limelight this time around. I'm getting too old for all this running around stuff.
Well, do what John Tinney did. Okay, I've got this many. I'm willing to do this many this year, period.
Yeah.
First come, first serve. If you're not on the list, forget it.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm going to have to do because, like I said, it's 7 years later now. I'm getting old, and I don't have the stamina I once did.
Well, the only positive is if you fly enough, just think of all the free massages you could get if you flew.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. I never got to fly anywhere because people could never pay for my airfare, so I always had to drive. And it's like, ugh, I hate sitting in a car. I absolutely hate sitting in a car.
That stinks. You don't even get free pretzels.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Both
Sit in
peanuts.
the car.
No, they don't give the peanuts anymore because of allergies.
That's right. Wow.
I think I got peanuts. When I was working, I had to go to a convention, and I got peanuts, but I got pretzels, too, and I got Cheez-Its.
Yeah, now that they've taken the peanuts off the planes because of allergies.
Oh. Well, that sucks. And I managed to get a free bag of coffee, too, because the coffee was really good on the plane. This was back in October of last year. The coffee was really good on the plane. And I complimented the stewardesses, or flight attendants, or whatever they call them now. And I said, this coffee's really great. And when I got ready to get off the plane, one of them comes by and shoves a big pack of it in my lap and says, here you go, enjoy the coffee. I'm like, woohoo, of course.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, because I'm a coffeeholic.
Oh, trust me, I bleed Maxwell House.
Yeah, she really does.
I have a Starbucks Gold card.
Yes,
And I
Starbucks
have
knows my name.
jars and jars of coffee in my cabinet. I drink at least 2 cups a day. When I was working full time, I would drink an entire pot just myself. My coworkers would complain about it because I drink an entire pot because I had a cup that was like this big, and I'd fix the pot of coffee and I'd pour the whole thing in there and then have to fix more.
Yep.
For everybody else.
Yeah.
I'm a total coffeeholic.
That would be me.
Yes, it would.
My big cup's in the garage though right now.
I know.
I just have a little wonky cup now. I like my little weird cup. I picked it up at a yard sale, and somebody handmade it, and they didn't do too good of a job, which I think is really cool about it.
It gives it character.
It does. It's really awesome looking, and like the glaze isn't right inside it and stuff, and I love all that.
The creamer gets stuck up under little nooks and crannies.
And the glaze inside of it, when they glazed it or threw it or whatever they call that, it's like really weird inside it, and you can see where the handle didn't quite blend on one side, and that's just really like majorly cool. And you can see it doesn't sit right either. It's like it's got a flat bottom, but you can see it's like angled or something.
Well, it's just constantly stirring itself.
It's weird, and I love it. It's my favorite cup.
Well, Andrea, we are running out of time.
No, I don't want to be out of time.
Well, we can reschedule again.
Oh, I know.
Well, we have her on Just Saying in 2 weeks.
Well,
Yes.
so there you go. See how fast we make things happen here?
Yeah, you do. That's awesome.
Hey.
But I always love coming and hanging out with y'all. So
We don't let grass grow under our feet.
No. We don't let grass grow nowhere.
no, well, you can always have me on anytime you want.
Well, we appreciate it. Trust me, we do.
And watch how you say that. Eric will take you up on it every chance.
Every other week. We might as well just give you a show.
I say I don't ever have a shortage of things to talk about.
Me either. It's a southern in me.
It's a southern thing. We like to talk.
It's a gift of gab.
Is that it?
That's what it is.
Okay. Okay, well, next Friday, well, let's start with Monday. Mary and I are very excited about Monday.
Oh, Lord.
To start the St. Patrick's Day week,
Yep.
join us Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Just Saying with our special guest, Barry Fitzgerald.
Yep. And yes, he has a slight accent.
From GHI.
Yes.
And yes, bring a drool cup. The man's accent. Oh. And next Friday we have Annie Marie from Bayside Haunts.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we do. Also, folks, if you'd like to, go to the Facebook pages. Send us a message on either one of the PEN network pages. We are doing a weekly newsletter now. If you'd like to receive our newsletter, just shoot us your email and we will gladly add you.
And with him working, if anybody has any questions or anything, come to me during the day.
Yep.
Don't have... If you need something answered, come to me. Don't send me a message asking me to have Eric talk to you later. I don't get paid secretary's fees.
They don't make much anyway,
You
believe
get
me.
paid?
Exactly. See? Come to me.
Shit, at least
I
you're
was
getting
one for
paid.
25 years. They don't make much.
So, once again, thank everybody for coming to listen.
Thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out with us tonight. Told you it would be a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Always is.
Join us
Yeah.
every night. We've got something
Live
live
shows.
every night, and we've got all kinds of stuff coming up. So,
All hands and feet inside the ride at all times, please.
and we will have Andrea back the 25th.
Yes, we will.
Yay! I can't wait.
So, with that, right here, be safe. If you go paranormal research this weekend, be careful.
Have a good night.
Bye.